Good morning, I'm meteorologist Lindsay Marlowe with NWS Atlanta, and thank you for tuning in to this week's weekly weather briefing. As far as the highlights of the next week or so, we're expecting seasonable conditions to continue for normal conditions for late October. Highs will be cooler this weekend, dropping a degree or two into the upper 60s along and north of I-20 thanks to wedging that we'll cover in the next couple of slides. Otherwise, we're expecting our highs to remain in the 70s during the day and lows in the upper 40s to 50s at night. Our dry weather will be punctuated this weekend as we move into the work week as our cold front looks to pass through our area, with rain chances starting to increase beginning Sunday. We're not expecting any severe weather or flooding concerns at this time, though with increasing drought conditions across the majority of the state, we may see some relief for portions of the area as the front passes through. Otherwise, we're expecting dry conditions once again after Monday. Taking a look at the current synoptic pattern, we've got high pressure once again at the surface across the southeast. If you look just off the Atlantic coast, you can see the frontal passage, or what remains of it, as it had moved through our area over the past couple of days. So there's some lingering cloud cover off the coast as a result of that. Otherwise, we're expecting a very dry air mass to remain in place through the weekend, leading to clear and pleasant conditions. Here is a look at satellite imagery as of the past 30 minutes or so. Primary features of interest, again, going to be the cloud cover associated with the frontal boundary just offshore and no longer in our area. And we have some valley fog in the terrain of northeast Georgia that should start to burn off in the next hour or two. For today's temperatures, as of 8 a.m., lows across the area were fairly widespread in the mid to upper 40s, with a couple of 50s trickled in across far east central Georgia. Today's high temperature, again, looks to be just around average for late October, in the upper 60s across the northeast Georgia terrain, and in the 70s pretty much everywhere else. I mentioned before that we are expecting things to be just a tick cooler this weekend, and that is a result of a high pressure system sliding in to the north across southeastern Canada into New England. And as that high pressure settles into place, the isobars drop down and a bunch of cool air starts to usher in across the southeast as a result of the flow pattern around the high. So we're expecting that to really build in earnest by Saturday into Sunday. And as a result of that cool air banking up against the Appalachian Mountains, we will see high temperatures that are just a few degrees cooler as a result of the increased cloud cover that follows as we see this develop. So here again is just a comparison of the afternoon highs on Friday when we're just kind of starting to see that cool air move in versus Saturday when it has settled in across the area. So on Friday we're expecting highs along and north of the I-20, I-85 connection to be right around 70 and elsewhere in the 70s, versus on Saturday when that cool dome has settled in, we'll see things drop a degree or two into pretty much the upper 60s for a majority of North Georgia and little change to temperatures elsewhere. Moving into Sunday, we start to see our synoptic pattern change up once again with the next frontal system setting up across the Arkansas, Mississippi area. The movement is going to be generally to the east-northeast, and that will be pushing through our area as we move from the weekend into the work week. So you can see rain chances begin to increase on Sunday, and then moving into Monday, the front itself should clear most of the forecast area. And on the back end of that frontal push, we will see dry air filter in once again, and that will carry us through the remainder of the week. So rain chances will start to pick up on the Saturday evening to overnight Sunday into Sunday morning time frame. And there will be a gradient in those rain chances, again with increased chances for portions of northwest Georgia, and then chances getting lower and lower the further southeast you move. Highest rain chances look to be on Sunday, with again kind of the northwest Georgia along I-85 range in the 70 to 80% range as the front moves through, and then lower chances the further south you go. Sunday to Monday, and the overnight Sunday time frame is when we will see the front kind of die out, as they tend to do across central Georgia. So it's possible that areas in our far southeastern counties don't really see a whole lot of rain associated with the frontal passage. But after that, rain chances drop off steadily again as dry air moves in. So what are we expecting as far as rainfall and potential impacts as the system moves through? Shown here is days 1 through 5 QPF. And what we're seeing here is up to about an inch of rain is possible through Monday, primarily focused across northeastern Georgia. Again, we normally get some terrain influence precipitation up there, and that's where we're expecting to see the highest rainfall chances. Though North Georgia in general is where we're expecting to see, 1, the highest chances of rain, and 2 is the highest rain chances. So the further south you get, we're seeing precipitation totals on the order of 1/100 of an inch to maybe 1/4 of an inch, so likely not enough to help ease the drought concerns that we've seen increase over the past couple of weeks of dry weather. But for portions of northeast Georgia, where we have seen drought conditions increase the most, we may see a little bit of relief. Circling back to severe weather, flooding concerns, we're not really anticipating much at this time. Soils have had barely any moisture to work with over the past couple of weeks, so this shouldn't be more than we can handle, so to speak. And severe weather does not look to be a concern at this time, but we'll be monitoring this as it enters the short term. I mentioned before, the drought conditions across the state have been increasing or degrading, especially so across northeast Georgia, where we see a fairly large area of severe drought has taken up residence across that area. Otherwise, a majority of the state is in some kind of drought condition at this point, and especially true again along and north of the I-20, I-85 connector. So we're hoping that chance of rain on Sunday through Monday will help to alleviate some of these concerns. Otherwise, with continued dry weather expected after the frontal passage, we don't really have many other chances over the next 7 days to see some relief. Tropical weather, up until this point, we have had a fairly quiet Atlantic hurricane season this year. As of right now, there are 2 areas that the Hurricane Center is monitoring. Both of them have a medium chance of development over the next 5 days, though we're not expecting any impacts associated with these storms. The further north storm looks to continue its north and east trajectory and should pass near Bermuda, assuming it develops at all. And the southern interest should, again, if it develops, should keep on that sort of primarily due westward path, and again would not expect any impacts across Georgia. So in summary, we're expecting seasonable conditions over the next week. Highs will be cooler this weekend, but only by a little bit, especially along and north of I-20, thanks to wedging and the associated cool dome with that. Otherwise, expect conditions to be fantastic for outdoors activities, with highs in the 70s and lows in the upper 40s to 50s. The cold frontal passage is likely to kick off our work week. Rain chances will increase beginning overnight Sunday, Saturday into Sunday, and then we'll start to taper off Monday afternoon. We're not expecting any severe weather or flooding concerns, and these should be primarily showers when they roll through. Increasing drought conditions across the majority of the state may see some relief as a result of the frontal passage, but it remains to be seen how much rain we actually squeeze out as it moves through. Otherwise, dry conditions expected once again after Monday. That's all we've got for you this week. Here are the multiple avenues you can use to contact us if you have any questions today, tomorrow, next week. We're here 24/7. Otherwise, thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to our weather briefing, and we hope you have a fantastic next week.